One of the things that that I'm working on in what I'm writing is the concept of like time when it comes to like in a novel, because in a lot of transmigration stuff, they're like, oh, we've been transmigrated into this novel, and if they do ever go back to like their time or like their world, it's like, oh, it's the exact same time or place that I left on the time that I was, that I got transmigrated. And I'm like, okay, that's cool and all, because like that means they don't like lose any actual time in like their world, but they have all these memories of like their time in said world of like the novel or book or game or whatever, right? That's like if they ever go back, right? But also, or sometimes it's like it's been like a couple like of days or hours or something, or in an instance they're either in a coma or something, like and while they're like in the novel, and then if they do go back, they like, you know so it's kind of like a different, just like different ways to like interpret things, right? And I'm sort of playing around with that. But in the way I'm playing around with it is, as she's transmigrated into said novel, it's only been like the span of the whole series is 2 months. It's a span of 2 months. Everything that happens and occurs is in the span of 2 months, you know. But time works differently, how yeah, time works differently. So while in the real world, in her world, time's going by fast, but in the book and a novel, it's just 2 months. And then so I want to play around that, because it's not just one transmigrator, it's two transmigrators. So it's her and another guy that are transmigrated sort of in, not at the same time. Like, I think it's the span of like, let's say it's a span of like 2 months. Okay, so if it's like a span of like 2 months, she's in, she gets transmigrated in, and then like the whole first month is like, first couple of days is her just trying to like get situated with like the world, and then her and Leon are together and just trying to like figure things out. And then there's like that's a fly. And then he gets transmigrated like a couple weeks after that, because in the opening scene, it's him taking over said character's body, and then it's her getting like dragged in. But I do need like time for her and him to like interact, and then like get on with the program and the plan to be able to like figure out a way to go home. But even though she's been there for like a couple weeks, not that long, it's been a while back then. And then even though when he gets transmigrated, he's a couple years older than her. He's technically younger than her because she's older than him. So there's like a weird ass time shenanigans that's going on, which will be one of the things that is discovered, that she just kind of freaks out, because she's just like, I thought, because like she's in her mind, she's like, okay, I've only been here in this novel for like 2 months, right? For a couple months, like if I go back, it should be fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it. But he drops a big bomb on her, and it just kind of makes everything spiral out of control. So that's always fun. So that's one of the things I'm working with, is the time thing. And also, you know, like, one of the things that we always ask when it comes to like transmigration, like novels, is what happens to like the original person in said body, right? So one of the characters that one of the people like transmigrates, you know, like one of the things that we think about and ask is like, what happens to the person, the OG person, like to their soul? And then there's a lot of manhwas or novels that do explain it, but there's very few that don't. So like, we'll see. So one of the characters gets transmigrated into like a tyrant king, and all I can say is they do switch spots, and it's not good for the people in his world. So it's just like, all I can say is there will be like scenes about like the real world, the world it got transmigrated into, and they'll be just back and forth in those characters, which I think is going to be pretty cool. But yeah, and it will I'm going more for like a comedic take on it, but it's kind of like if you read ORV, it's like comedic at times, but it's sad. Lord of Mysteries 2, and then it's also like what's his face, the Grand State Designer, like where Lloyd's there, and then Kale Hernandez, and then Kill the Villainous is one of them. The concept of Kill the Villainous is the whole thing of like them actually going back, you know. But that's my rant from Nanowrimo. And if you guys want to see me talk more about it, let me know. If you have any more questions, let me know. We'll see how much I can get that done, because I do have work. It's gonna suck ass.